Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Kate. I'm one of the co-founders of Archoral. Today's topic is at the heart of archiving and family history. So let's go ahead and get started. Leaving more than an inheritance, creating an ethical will with Archoral. Now, ethical wills are also considered legacy letters, life letters, love letters. There's a whole bunch of different terms for them, but they all basically have the same really deep meaning. So what we're going to do today is we are going to discuss what is an ethical will, why do they matter, and how can we modernize it? Then we're going to spend some time in the application where I'm going to show you ways to explore how to leave stories. There's so many different options and layers to this. We're going to take a look at the different spots. There's the main profile, there's life events, and then against individual media. You can also connect it across profiles and leave messages on other people's profiles. So we're going to explore a little bit of that. Then we're going to come back on over here, and I have a massive handout for you guys today. So we're going to explore that a little bit so that you kind of get an understanding of that big old PDF we're going to give you at the end of this. Okay, here we go. So what is an ethical will? Well, first off, they're not legal documents. They are all about leaving a heartfelt personal statement. They're all about your values, your life lessons, your hopes, your stories for the future generations. It's about the fact that we have all lived these rich lives and we've had ups and downs, good and bad, and we've all learned from them. And we want our future generations to really kind of understand what our journeys are and hopefully add some value to theirs. So, why does this matter? There is a huge emotional impact. We pass down wisdom, not just wealth. And we all know that we're not going to be around for all of our generations. Hopefully, we're around for the next two or three, but modern medicine, who knows? But we want to pass down that wisdom. We want to preserve the why behind family traditions, decisions, and values. We all know that so much of our heritage is getting lost and diluted. And this is a way for us to really share the deep connection that we have with both our faith, our families, our values, so that they really get who we are and why these things are important. The next one is our practical benefits. This guides future generations in decision making. All of us that do genealogy or family history are very aware that if you don't know history, you're bound to repeat it. And that's something that on many levels we don't want to have happen. We want to continue to grow as a society. So by explaining how things felt, how they were, what your emotional state was, your actual impact, helps guide those future generations in their choices. Then it also reduces misunderstandings and strengthens family bonds. We all have those stories from our past generations that we're making assumptions and we're kind of deciding for ourselves with the information available what things may have been like or why our family may have done something. And a lot of times that leads to misunderstandings. So when you're leaving an ethical will or a legacy letter, this is a perfect opportunity for you to expand upon that. So imagine hearing a deceased parent's voice and have them tell you about their lives, have them recall portions of your life by voice. There is nothing more just heartwarming and dramatic than someone's voice. A grandchild learning the story of an heirloom. How many times have we thought about putting up a yard sale table and we don't know if this should go in it or not? The things that our relatives choose to keep and pass down to later generations always have a meaning. There's always a reason for that. And if you don't know it, what are you going to do? So, how can we modernize it? Right now, a legacy letter is an email, it's a handwritten letter, it's a Word document, it's a one time static thing that you just kind of put in there what you can recall, right? So what we're going to talk about today is the ability to leave a deeper legacy. We have an evolving ability within our archives. You can revisit yearly, so your beliefs and your priorities show change over time. You can actually show the growth of this is who I was before something happened, and now I have a positive or negative event, and this is how I am now, what my outcome, my reflection was on it. We can clarify. So by putting your legacy letters in with your family history, we're pairing facts with reasons. We're giving photos and documents and a lot of that texture that really validates the reasons why you had the outcome and the viewpoint that you did when you come out the other side of a portion of life. Multi-sensory. This is a really wonderful thing to do digitally. When you're reading words, tone, vocal inflection, personality doesn't really translate through the written word. But when you add that first layer of audio, now you're getting someone's giggle, you're getting someone's tears, you're getting someone's, you know, breath when they're speaking. But then you add the video onto it, and now you get facial expressions and you get presence, and it just becomes so much deeper when you get to add all of those pieces to something. So doing it digitally really gives you that deeper layer. Connected. The connectivity is a big thing. So if the only way that you would be able to read a legacy letter written by a distant relative to their next generation is if your family saved it. Imagine a world where in your archive, the legacy letters from all of your generations past are there in video form. They're linked to people, they're linked to events and places, they're linked to each other's profiles. Imagine how just fulfilling that archive would be for a future generation to wander through. Okay, so let's see how all of this works in our coral. Okay. So this is our dashboard. When you first log into your account, this is where you're going to land. It's got kind of the snapshot of everything going on. This is where I do my public service announcement. And I let you know that we have created an AI family. This keeps my family safe and allows me to take this one on whatever journey we need to show you how the application works. So you're going to see some silly stuff. If we're going to look at my archive one day, it's got thousands of profiles, tens of thousands of pieces of media, because I am my family keeper all the way back to basically the invention of paper. It's pretty fantastic. So keep in mind, I generate in order to take us on these journeys. So what we're going to start with is we're going to look at profiles. And we are going to look at Caleb. He is the one that I have filled out the most. So when you have these profiles, they're curated information from different points and places and sources. And you end up with all of this wonderful information about a person. And you have these timelines where you have milestones in your life all the way down to if you wanted to have a lemonade stand when you were 8, you could put all of the pictures in there. So when you are doing this and you are having these images and this media in here, we're going to look at this one, the birth. So we're going to open the indexer. So this is all of the media that I have attached to the birth. I've got some photos, I've got some documents, no videos yet, but I have an audio. So imagine you're a future generation or you're Nathan himself and you're looking through this and it's nice, it's neat. I've got some photos, I can put some stories against photos, I can do things like that. But imagine if grandmother was able to record a video and place it here against my entire timeline event where she gives me blessings and she gives me her hopes and her dreams for the future. And she tells me just things that she wants me to remember as I grow. That's something that grandma can do in the moment when everything is fresh, and she can load it in here and it will be a part of the legacy letters that are going to be left for me for the rest of time. So that's one way to enrich, is to enrich through timelines. But keep in mind, you can also do it on things like why you changed a name, why you decided to get married. It can be what is learned over a relative's death, and adding that personal value touch, not just uploading the video of something that happened and the photo of something that happened, allows you to leave that clarity for future generations. So the first thing that we just looked at was uploading an actual video to a timeline event. And you can do that to any of these. If there's just, somebody lost a hand and you wanted to leave the warning about that, you can just create that video and drop it right in here and it's connected. So another way that we can do this is when we are back here in the media. So you can do it individually as well. So each piece of media, irregardless of what kind of media it is, has a storytelling feature down here. And you can record audio. So you can just sit here and just love the person or the image or any kind of guidance that you want to give. You can do individually across pieces of media. Then you can do it in bulk across entire events. But what you can also do is go to somebody else's profile, if you so choose, to leave them a direct story. You can do it there too. So if you want to write your letter to someone in particular, you can go to their profile and record for them. So one of the other things that we're going to talk about in a handout is doing a year's review. So when you're up here in this timeline, you can drop the media in against this, your letter, or what I love is add additional event. Come in here and add an event and do it 2025 year in review legacy. Put it in here, put the date, put where you were when you did it, create all of this, and then save it. Then you can actually come into your profile and go through and just give it that full year in review. Look at all the things that have happened to you. Look at how you've changed. Look at how your personality's changed. And it's going to end up, did I not save it correctly? Ooh, did I mess up? Oh, I didn't give it a date. Shame on me. I got all excited. I got all excited. So we're going to come in here. We're going to go event details. We're going to go to 2025 year in review. I'm going to give it a date. So today, I'm going to do it today. And I'm going to save it. So if you notice, I didn't have to do any of the other stuff. I didn't have to go crazy. I just wanted this one spot where I'm going to talk about everything that happened that year. Okay, so many different places and so much different thing. So the last thing that I want to talk about before we go back to that PDF, the handout we're going to give you, is I want to talk about connectivity. So we have the ability to link individual pieces of media to multiple profiles. Being profile based, we do people and we do locations. So when you have a piece of media, you only have to upload it once, and then you can make it cascade throughout your archive. And I have several webinars on how to interlink all of these things. So let's just we'll go back to that birth. So here we've got a timeline entry. Now, imagine that that is the year in review. Actually, let's make that a little smoother for you. because I did a year in review. So this one, if I open this up, all of these connectivities, the location, I can connect it to the location profile. So we're going to say she did this at Nathan's home. We're going to say that who she's talking about, who do we want to connect this to? So the people that were present, so we're going to use name of attendees, the people that were present that she spoke about, that she's referring to in her letter. So let's say it's Nathan himself. And then let's say that it is Michael. These are the two people that she wants this letter, this year in review, to specifically be attached to. So I've added in a location and two people, and I hit save. So now, if I go to Nathan, and I look at his timeline, here is the year in review. I should have put on there by Sophia, since I'm connecting it to people. So you can always edit these. See how easy that was? So now when it's connected to everyone else's profile, they'll know that this letter was done by Sophia and it was intended for Nathan. And if I come over here to the home, just for fun, this is where Sophia was. Or maybe she mentioned and was doing stories about the home. It can connect there. So you see how we can modernize. We can add the video, we can add the audio, we can do those really beautiful in-depth recordings and messages to our family and our future generations and have them interconnect. You can have them weave. And if you just want to write something for that person individually and not have it connect to anyone else, just don't put in the attendees. Just do it directly in their timeline, do it directly in their profile, and it will be a personal letter just from you to them. Okay, so that's a lot. Why don't we go ahead and look at the PDF? All right, so this is a 10-page document that we're going to give to you guys today. And this is basically just a step-by-step user guide, and it gives you some ideas of how to do it, where to do it, when to do it. It's designed for not just an individual, a family, but also a facilitator. So in a lot of communities, getting people to start things on their own can be a little challenging. We all know that we have to-do lists a mile long, and so the important things, the daily tasks come first. But when we have a holiday or when we have a special event or we design a special event where people get together, you tend to do things more when you have it scheduled and on the calendar. There's also the ability to do these activities with your congregation, with your synagogue, with your bridge club. You can do them anywhere. And that's the wonderful thing about digital. So we've got here steps for leaving a legacy, how to prepare yourself, set up your profile structure, all of these different things. Now this PDF is very clickable. So you can just jump to wherever you need. So here's your little quick start guide. And what I like to ask people to do is don't overwhelm yourself. Start easy, start simple. It's not about making a documentary film. It's just about leaving behind those pieces of you that you want to continue to live. So the quick start guide is just start a person, create a profile, enter the basics, just whatever you know, just tidbits. Seed that life timeline. If you only know one or two things, if you don't know anything at all, but you still want to create that legacy letter, you can be the person that works the computer and does the recording. If you have elderly relatives that can't do this themselves, make it a family event. You can attach media, recording the short stories. Then you could refine and clarify as you go. A lot of times you learn things about your family and the events and the heritage And when you learn those things, you can then add that information back into the profiles and the timelines, and it becomes that cyclical evolution of learning things about your family and expanding your family history research and your archive. So then we're going to come down, we're going to do, there's steps for how to prepare, just some basic ideas to keep in mind before you get going. Then we're going to actually walk you through how to set up profiles and the structure of your flow. Now, these are all suggested. The great thing about Archoral is you can do anything from any direction. It's all about the way that you think, the way you feel comfortable. So this is our guide, but doing things the way that you want to do it is absolutely the way. We're going to talk about gathering some information, how to make your notes, record some stories, how to adjust and refine. Then when you have photos, documents, audio, video, you have that media, you can start dropping it in. And the one thing that I tell people is you don't have to scan everything first. Start with just the text entry. Start with just seeding that profile. The media can come later. We're to walk you through a little bit about creating the video or audio legacy and how you can do it per topic, meaning that timeline or that additional name, doing it by topic. So there's some nice guides in your reflections. And then here's a little bit about doing your year in review. So there's a little bit of indexing so that you can continue to go, and then you want to repeat it. You want to create that habit. And again, it's really easier to do when it's a family event. Or some people like to say, I do it on my birthday. On my birthday every year, I have lived another 365 days, and my birthday is when I'm going to reflect on my life. And I think that's really a beautiful way to do it. That's that yearly profile update day. A little bit of maintenance, research, refinement. We're all about putting in the guesses, putting in the estimates, refine it later. Just seed the profiles. We've got some additional values. And then we've got a whole thing about adding ethical will messages to other people's profiles. And I think that's really beautiful. You can do them from yours and from theirs directly. It's really, it's touching. Imagine how many letters some of us have from our parents. Don't you wish they were videos? Then we've got some more resources. These are some personal and community applications. So remember I mentioned that this doesn't have to be lonely. You don't have to do it by yourself. And there are a lot of generations out there that don't want to do the computer thing. And this is how you can work with your community to capture your community stories. And it also works really well if you have a community event, or you have an anniversary or a retirement, something like that. It doesn't have to be years in review. It doesn't have to be birthdays. It can just be about reflecting on 9/11. How did you feel? What was it like? Things like that. So here's some discussion prompts to kind of get you going and help you with your community and yourself. And again, they're designed to not just gather information. A legacy letter is not an interview. It's a verbal and emotional flow that you're bottling up in a beautiful package and leaving for future generations. So that's the beautiful handout that you're going to get lots of information. And that's why we're just briefly covering it on the application today. All right, so we discussed what an ethical will is and why it matters. You don't want people to guess. Explored how to leave recordings in your archive. So we just touched on that a little bit. We have a whole plethora of webinars on YouTube that will help you do any pieces and parts. And we're also here to help. So just reach out. We love people with questions. So we looked at how to do it against profiles. Everything we did in a person profile, you can do from the location profile. So you can do your legacies from either way. People also don't really realize that legacy, leaving your beliefs behind, can be done for locations as well. Locations drive us and shape us. We can do them against individual life events. We can do them against media, and then we can index them to make those recordings cyclical and extract some more of the information to continue building. We looked at that big old handout that we have and we explored how to create your own legacy. Just get started bit by bit and how to help the community leave their legacy as well. None of us are walking this world individually, and the collective story is where all of the texture of life comes from. So that's our choral and how to do a legacy letter or an ethical will. Whatever your terminology, the heartfelt reason is all the same. So this is our QR code. We do have free trial. We want you to come in and play. Our email, we are listening at archoral.com. We love for people to give us feedback, give us any sort of ideas, ask us questions. We're also here to help you set up your archive. This is kind of a new way to do family history. It's a new and evolving way to do it. And we understand that there's a little bit of a learning curve. And we are absolutely here to help you with that. Also, if there's something that you would like, a congregation or an event that you're having, that you want to implement these programs, that you want to bring your community together to set these up, we have complete breakdowns on how to do that. And I am more than happy to jump on a call with you or do a webinar with your group and just kind of walk them through how to do this. So we're happy to help you set up the archive and the event itself. I love community service and I love collecting the stories from everyone. So please, if that's something that you're interested in doing in your community, reach out and we will absolutely help you make it happen. Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining, everyone, and happy archiving.